After 2 full seasons in the Premier League, I wouldn't say that we are necessarily an established Premier League side just yet. In Season 1, in the Premier League, we finished in 13th place with our Queen's Park Rangers side. In Season 2, we actually dropped down to 14th place. Season 3, we really need to be aiming upwards. Top half finish. If we can get a Europa Conference League spot as well, that would be absolutely magical. So it is the 10th of June and the transfer window has literally just opened. We've got £16 million left in our transfer budget to spend, and I think we might have spent some money, but I'm not too convinced. That might be the new stadium. Or it might be a combination of the two, because Clint Hill Park is now fully established. I said last season that I think it's called Clint Hill Park. I think we got the news, but they didn't actually kind of have a place for it. Now they have a place where it's going to be. So Clint Hill Park is going to exist on the 24th of June 2034. So 3 seasons to go, and it's going to be just under 30,000 capacity. That's going to be a fairly sizable stadium. And I'm assuming, as we're still playing at Loftus Road, it is not being, like, we're not knocking down Loftus Road and rebuilding it. We have also spent quite a bit of money already. We brought in some very, very expensive players. Expensive for us, not for Football Manager and just general footballing terms. Jason Mitchell, first player through the door, formerly of Manchester City. He has come in for £230,000, spent 4 different seasons, or 3 seasons out on loan at various clubs. West Brom, Barnsley, Preston, also some time at Girona, some time as well playing for Wigan. He has got 1 Premier League appearance to his name off the bench, probably played for about 7 minutes. For £1.4 million, we've also signed Brazilian defender Alan from Sporting. I never remember. I feel like, literally we're like a week or 2 away from the actual FM26 coming out, but I really should have kind of fixed this. But it's SPO, whoever SPO are. Santos, maybe, not quite sure. But anyway, Alan has come in for £1.4 million. Kind of one for the future, but I think he's probably going to be on the bench a few times for us this season. And now moving forward into the pretty expensive players. Leslie Ogachukwu, the 27-year-old French defensive midfielder and central midfielder, has signed from Southampton for £9.25 million. Funnily enough, in this world, he never went on loan to Southampton like he did in real life. He actually went there permanently in 2030, 2031, and then we've picked him up for basically double what they've paid. He's had massive transfers, slowly increasing transfer values for the last 4 seasons. Maybe we overpaid? I think we didn't. I think we've got ourselves a very good player here. Obviously, defence midfield is a position that we do play, and I think we've needed to strengthen that role for about 4 seasons, let's be honest. Ogachukwu is certainly an improvement on what we had. And for even more money, we have brought in a Wonderkid attacking midfielder from West Brom, of all places. 19-year-old Northern Irish international, 11 caps, 1 goal to his name for £9.75 million. It's a lot of money, but he is going to be walking into our starting 11, if you ask me. Mentally, those numbers are superb. 20 determination, 18 teamwork, 18 vision as well. He's got 15 work rate, which arguably, it's not horrendous, let's be honest, but it could be a little bit better. Technically as well, looks pretty good. I think Ethan McBrien is going to be really, really good for us. And that's all the business we have done so far. Obviously, it is day 1 of the transfer window. There will inevitably be some more transfers taking place. If we have a very quick look at the squad, we have got 2 players who will be out of contract in a month's time, or actually 20 days' time. So Marcus McGuane will be leaving. He only played once for us last season. Was actually a pretty good signing for us for the first 2 or 3 seasons. But then, yeah, we've kind of outgrown him. And Ola Odembomi, we signed in Season 1 for £925,000. Had 3 cracking seasons in the Championship and then couldn't really cut the mustard in the Premier League. So Ola Odembomi is on his way out, which I kind of feel a bit harsh about, but he's not going to get any better than that. There's no point keeping him around for just kind of like sentimental value. Obviously, I spoke earlier about where we would like to finish in the Premier League. I would love to think top half. We should be getting in the top half, particularly when you think if we're getting players of like Ogachukwu's kind of quality for a reasonable fee, only £10 million, we should be able to improve the squad quite considerably. FA Cup and Carabao Cup, I'd like to have a good cup run. I'd like to get to a cup final. I don't think we're going to, but I'd like to get to a cup final as well. That would be good. Right, let's jump to the start of September then, see the end of the transfer window. Like I said earlier, we've got 16 million to spend, but we are over our wage budget. We will have a look at players who have been released and retired and things like that before we talk about players who have left the club on permanent deals. And obviously, the more important ones, the new faces joining our Premier League campaign. So released players then, we have got Marcus McGuane. Obviously, we mentioned earlier, Marcus McGuane is one of those players. Been around for a while, but he has left, and he's actually gone to Portsmouth. I feel like he used to play for Portsmouth. Or does he play for Portsmouth in real life? Not quite sure, but Marcus McGuane has gone to Portsmouth. Matudis has left the club. He was never really going to play for us. Anovo, another player who was never going to play for us because he's awful. Michael Cronin who was never going to play for us, Jack Jones, Charlie Gray, and Mark Mullen. So Charlie Gray actually was a player that I think I signed, if I'm not mistaken. Just wasn't really good enough for us. Mark Mullen as well, a player that I did want to keep because I thought he was going to be good. But ultimately, we've decided, no, let's let him leave. He wasn't really playing for us. He was going out on loan multiple times. So, yeah, Mark Mullen has also left. I think as well, yeah, here we are. We've got Jake Clark-Salter did retire at the end of last season as well. So, at 33 years of age, he played his final game for us and then called it quits, which is fair enough. He's done all right. I think he was a good signing at the time, so I'm happy with that. Next up, we've got Ola Odumbomi as well. So he technically didn't get released. We sold him on a free transfer. So, I mean, his contract still existed, but it was existing for like a week. So he has moved over to Swansea on a free transfer. Like I said earlier, it's a shame to see him go, but we just outgrew him pretty quickly. For £350, possibly going up to £400,000, an 18-year-old youngster who I did not see much in, but Stoke apparently did. Like I said, £400,000 is silly money for that kind of quality of player. He might turn good, but to be honest, we are going to be playing maybe 1 or 2 more seasons of this save. We're never going to see that. Similar situation is Lloyd Horgan, a 16-year-old Irish under-19 international. He's moved over to Everton for £1.1 million. There is also, I think, a 50% sell-on clause in that one. But yeah, Horgan has moved on. I'm not seeing too much from him. He looks okay. He is only 16. But yeah, we're not going to be here long enough to really see much more than basically what we're seeing now. We did do one fairly sizable transfer, and that is Ryotaro Sonoda leaving the club, moving back to his native Japan, signing for Hiroshima for £5.25 million, possibly going up to £6 million. And I was trying to sell him through an intermediary, and they were offering me like £2 million. So I went, you know what, that's not enough money. So I just transfer listed him, and then about 8 Japanese clubs came in for like £6 million. I went, okay, that'll do. We've saved ourselves, or earned ourselves like £4 million, and not had to pay a fee to get rid of him. There are a bunch of other players as well who have left the club on loan spells. So Brooke Norton-Cuffy has moved on loan to Brianza. We did use ourselves an intermediary fee for this one, £81,000, possibly £2.5 million permanent transfer for Norton-Cuffy. Mick Pickering has gone out on loan to Wrexham because he just needs to get a bit more game time. He's not really improving enough. He's going to be playing in League One this season. Similar situation is Rob Gardner. He's actually going to be playing in League 2 this season. He spent 2 seasons on loan at Exeter in League 2 and League 1. He's dropped back down to League 2. Noah Lamina has also gone out on loan to Preston because he didn't play for us at all last season. He's gone on loan to the Championship. They're actually paying us £350,000, which is pretty good. And I don't think there is an option to buy him, although he might be out of contract at the end of the season. He's got a year. He's got 2 years left on his deal. Okay. Louis Gibson, another youngster who has spent a few seasons out on loan at various clubs, has gone out on loan to Exeter in League 1. He looks good, but he's now 23. Bobby Clark has gone out on loan to Sheffield United for £1 million, and he's actually moving there permanently at the end of this loan spell. So Bobby Clark just didn't really play a huge amount for us last season, just 10 off the bench. He's gone on loan. There is an intermediary fee as well in there. They're going to be signing him for £2 million plus £1 million in total payment. So £3 million for Bobby Clark. We could have got more probably, but we just weren't playing him, were we? Keanu Dyer, a player that we signed a couple of seasons ago, has gone out on loan to Reading in the Championship. There's probably potential there, but he's just not going to achieve it playing for us. James Taylor, a player that we signed very early on in the save from Kilmarnock, now 23. He's gone out on loan to Crewe in League 2. He's just not really got any better than what he was when we signed him. And Daniel Dionisi has also gone out on loan to Burnley in the Championship. Went on loan to Everton for the second part of last season. He dropped down to the Championship. He needs game time. He's not good enough to play for us at the moment, but at 21, with a value of £20 to £27 million, there is definitely potential there. He's just not getting it playing for us, or at least at our club, because he's not playing for us. So going to Burnley, getting a full season under his belt, might see him turn into a better player when he returns. So lots and lots of things have gone on so far. We've also brought in, I think, 7 more players on free transfers. Frank Noble was first up, 22-year-old Scottish under-19 international signed from Everton. My scout said he was good, and I went, sure, he's free, why not? He's going to sit in the under-21s. We've also signed Charlie Patino on a free transfer. The now 27-year-old English central midfielder signed from Sheffield United after his contract expired. In fact, Norwich, after his contract expired, just wasn't really playing for them. Went there for £12.25 million. He has a lot of potential, I think, but he's now 27, so he's probably missed the boat. He is, though, worth £25 to £30 million, so there's definitely still something that he could reach for. We've also signed Aita Leon, a 23-year-old Spanish defender with 13 under-21 caps, signed from Real San Sebastian or Real Sociedad. Definitely not going to be first name on the team sheet, but should be good enough to get a few games. Similar situation is Daniel Amshoff, is a 21-year-old Austrian under-21 international signed from RB Salzburg. He's probably not as good, so he's basically going to be playing a lot of football, I think, probably for the under-21s. I have tried to loan him out, but nobody's wanted him. Probably a player that we didn't really need, but he was available once again on a free transfer, is Alan Davidson, 22-year-old Scottish international, formerly of Liverpool, spent a season on loan at Lincoln as well. Free transfer, he's really good. We do need to retrade him, obviously, to be a more kind of advanced... No, actually, central. We play central, don't we? So a central attacking midfielder, which I'm sure he can do. Or we could be really weird and rogue and maybe train him up to be a defensive midfielder. Probably not the thing to do, though. We've also picked up Ryan Sessegnon on a free transfer. He is 31, which kind of makes me a little bit nervous that I have signed somebody who is 31. He'll be 32 before the season is out. He has got a 2-year deal as well. I don't think he's going to get a much longer deal than 2 years, though, playing for us. So if we are still here at the end of season 8, then Sessegnon will basically be here until we leave the club as well. Like I said, free transfer from Wolves, spent a few seasons playing in the Premier League as well. I think this was sensible. I wanted some Premier League experience, and he's a pretty good left wing back as well. So I'm happy with Sessegnon. And finally, arguably a player that we didn't really need, but we did need a new backup goalkeeper. We've signed Jamie Williams from West Ham, I believe, or might be Aston Villa, I think. Possibly spent some time out on loan. 28 caps for Wales. So Wales' number 1 goalkeeper has joined us as a backup. So he spent a loan at Oxford, Millwall and West Ham in the Championship, a bit in League One. He did play some Premier League time as well for Villa. But yeah, we brought him in to be a backup because basically, if we have a look at the coach summary, Ziegler is the better goalkeeper. He's just as good as Whitworth. And Whitworth's definitely our number 3. So yeah, that has been our summer. Lots of transfers that actually were kind of interesting and we did sort of need to talk about. Literally one player we didn't mention, which was Carlos Rodas, because he just goes out on loan to Bromley every season, I think. Yeah, but it's been a busy summer, hasn't it? And then when we look at the best 11, the new players that kind of move into their positions. So Sessegnon moves in as that left back. We've got Ogachukwu who moves in defensive midfield as well. Ethan McBrien as the attacking midfielder. So we have strengthened in a few positions, and I think key positions as well, particularly in this sort of defence midfield role with Ogachukwu, I think was a sensible thing to do. Yes, it was £10 million, but it was sensible, okay? I'm going to keep saying the word sensible. So, looking at the squad, sorting by the roles that I'm kind of seeing them play. So, Whitworth, Williams and Ziegler will be our goalkeeping options, with Ziegler being our number 1. We've got Mbete, Phillips, Jason Mitchell, Negru, Hector Leon, Allen and Amshoff as our defenders. It's still not great. Ashley Phillips, obviously the best name there, probably. Then Mbete, I think, is definitely going to be getting a lot of football. And so is Negro, actually. So it's not horrendous, but once you get past our starting 3, then you move to sort of players like Jason Mitchell, who's not awful, but he's not Premier League quality. Same with Hector Leon, same with Allen, same with Amshoff. So yeah, we've got kind of 3 good central defenders, and that's about it from our wing-back position. So we've got Huggins, Juanlu, we've also got Burrows, Ledesma and Sessegnon, which I'm quite happy with. Cornes, Ogachukwu, JJ, James Moore, Patino, Kone as our defensive midfielders, which is obviously very good. We've got very good attack midfield options with Luke Harris, Alvaro, Davidson and McBrien. And then we've got 2 strikers up front, so Rory Wilson and Aoyama. Wilson already scoring 4 goals in 5 starts. He is wanted by Hull in the Premier League. Yeah, we're not doing that one. Speaking of the Premier League, it has kicked off and we have scored a few goals, so we have won a couple of matches. We have beaten Liverpool and Spurs, which is weirdly very impressive. Problem is we have lost against Chelsea and Man United. We've had a very tough start to the season, and the fact that we've picked up 6 points from that, I think is probably a good sign, right? As you'd expect, though, the odds are always wrong because they're expecting us to finish in 19th place. Last season was 14th, the season before that was 13th. 11th and 12th place expected finishes are the 2 sides who have just been promoted, and then Sheffield United route to the bottom. Just having a look as well as the projected lineup, so Ziegler in goal, Phillips, Negro and Mitchell in defence, Ledesma, Patino, Ogachukwu and Juanlu, Kone, McBrien and Wilson. I mean, Kone's not playing in that attacking midfield role. He's the defence midfield option, but sure, whatever. And I haven't looked at this before, but it is Ogachukwu and Ledesma are 2-star players. Fair enough. Not what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting Ledesma there anyway. The other thing to mention, we are still in the Carabao Cup. We have gone through, I believe, just 1 round, up against Peterborough, beating them 5-1. Mitchell, Wilson with 2, and Ashley Phillips also scoring twice. I've just seen against Liverpool, a Leslie Ogachukwu 92nd minute winner against Liverpool, and a 2-0 win against Spurs on the opening game of the season. Luke Harris is weirdly good, but he isn't, but he also is. Just before we jump to the end of the season, I do want to mention that we are not locking in anybody for this season. Normally, I would have had Ledesma probably locked in, but because we've got Sessegnon and Ledesma, I'm going to allow the assistant manager, Xavi Calm, to basically rotate and do what he wants. So I'm not locking anybody in for this season. We're going to jump forward to the end of it and see if we can survive, and I'd like a good cup run. So when I said I'd like a good cup run, semi-final, losing against Liverpool after the two-legged affair. So a 4-3 defeat on aggregate, beating them 2-1 in the return leg. And a similar situation in the FA Cup. This time it was Manchester City, our opponent, where we lose 4-0 in the semi-final, setting up an all-Manchester final, which was obviously won by Manchester City. So the final 4 games of the season, then we kick things off at Loftus Road up against West Ham United. It is the 23rd minute. Alvaro's in on goal, blasts it past Jenkins, making it 1-0. And then it takes all the way through to the 96th minute. Cornes with a corner. It's found in the middle is Kone. I say Kone. I think it falls to Kone. Eventually Alvaro crosses in. Kone is there once again, this time making it 2-0, 3 points. And quite a comfortable 3 points as well. 8 shots, just 4 on target, but we kind of West Ham didn't do anything. And then into the final 3 games of the season now. Next up is Brentford, an all-London affair away from home. Ledesma with a ball in the penalty area, crosses it in, finds Rory Wilson on the 55th minute, making it 1-0. And that is how the game ends. 3 more points picked up. In the penultimate game of the season, we invite Rory Wilson's former team of Aston Villa down to London. Will it make a difference? Are we still fighting for something at this point? Wilson opens the scoring after 39 minutes against his former club. And actually, shortly after, he scores his second of the game, stealing the ball away. Wilson has acres of space all to himself, runs directly towards goal. It's Chevalier in goal for Aston Villa. Can't stop that one. And Rory Wilson makes it 2-0. And that is 3 more points. We have picked up 9 points from our last 3 games. Can we do something in the final game of the season as well? The short answer is yes. Against Everton at the Bramley Moore Docks Stadium, we take the lead after just 16 minutes. Ledesma plays the ball in the middle. It is Harris getting on the end of it, making it 1-0. Ogachukwu steps up from the penalty spot on the 39th minute, doubling our lead. Everton do manage to get themselves a goal back just before half-time. Patterson runs into a bit of space, plays it on the ground to Nketiah. Phillips just about gets the ball away, but it falls back to Patterson, who blasts it past Ziegler. As we move into the second half, it's the 50th minute, and it is Cornes in on goal. Of all people, is Dominic Cornes, puts it past Giles. It's now 3-1 to Queen's Park Rangers in the final game of the season. Can we make it 4? Of course we can make it 4. On the 62nd or 61st minute, Ledesma's there at the back post. The goalkeeper is in absolute no man's land. Ledesma with a headed effort for the fullback, making it 4-1 in the final game of the season. Now the question is, we've had a good cup run, both cups. Did we have a good league finish as well? Did we need to win 12 points out of 12 in our final 4 games? We kinda did. We finished 7th place in the table, 65 points on the board, ahead of Manchester United in 8th place, ahead of Newcastle, ahead of Everton, again, ahead of Leeds, again, Brighton, Palace, West Ham. We have had a ridiculously good season. We were actually just 2 points off of qualifying for the Europa League, just 5 points off qualifying for the Champions League. And when you look at our results for the final few games of the season, we had a hell of a run. From basically February or mid-February onwards, we beat Sheffield United, we beat Wolves, we lost against Norwich, but then beat Forest, Arsenal, Brighton, Hull, and Leeds. We did lose against Newcastle in the middle there, but I mean, we just had a ridiculously good run towards the end of the season. We've qualified for the Europa Conference League. But there is part of me that thinks that we could actually qualify for the Europa League, because every season there is the weird kind of the disciplinary rules sort of awards thing. Normally it goes to England or Spain. Every time I've seen it, it's normally England or Spain that get it. And obviously, if it is going to go to England, that means we get an extra European spot, which means everything basically shuffles down. It means Villa will be in the Champions League, Liverpool, QPR will be in the Europa League, and Man United will qualify for the Europa Conference League. Also, Arsenal in the Champions League final. Does that make a difference? And Man City won the Europa League. Maybe because Man City won the Europa League might shift everything down, because they'll just automatically qualify for the Champions League because of that, which means Villa will get the Champions League and we will get the Europa League normal, not the Europa Conference League. Possibly. I don't know. We'll have to wait until next season. So last thing to do then, looking at players who have done pretty good when it comes to goals. Ashley Phillips is up there with 9 goals in all competitions, 6 of them coming in the Premier League. For a 26-year-old central defender who is on too much money a week, £81,000 a week is too much money. He's had a very good season for us. I think he's done a pretty good job for us, obviously scoring goals, keeping clean sheets. Al Ittihad do want to sign him. I don't think I want to sell him unless they come in for like 60 million. We can't justify selling him for anything less than like maybe 50. Third top goal scorer, once again, I believe, is Luke Harris. He's had 3 pretty decent seasons, scoring 10 goals, 7 assists in all competitions. So this is technically his worst season out of all of them. But he's done well. Considering I don't think he's good enough for Premier League football on this game, he's done pretty good for us. I'm happy with that. Leslie Ogachukwu is our second top goal scorer with 12 in all competitions, most of them or half of them coming in the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, 6 in the league, 6 in the FA Cup, or 3 in the FA Cup, 3 in the Carabao Cup, so quite a lot of goals scored in cup competitions, but he's got 12 goals from defensive midfield, which is good. He's wanted by teams in Saudi Arabia, because of course he is. Similar situation to Ashley Phillips. We are not selling him unless we get silly money, like I'm talking like 80 million for Ogachukwu here. And our top goal scorer is Rory Wilson for the second successive season, I believe. 18 league goals, 24 in all competitions, 3 in the FA Cup, 3 in the Carabao Cup. Also a couple of goals for the Scottish national side as well in the European Championship qualifiers, I assume is what that is. He's done good, hasn't he? He's been a good signing for a free transfer. 2 years, he's just been scoring a lot of goals for us. I think I have just given him a new contract, which means his salary's pretty high compared to what it was. He is wanted by teams in Saudi Arabia. Similar situation to Phillips and Ogachukwu. He ain't going for anything less than about £80 million, so he's not going anywhere. 3 players as well with reasonably high assist numbers who haven't scored a lot of goals. That is, Oscar Ledesma has got 9 assists. Just the 1 goal, which was obviously in the final game of the season. The 21-year-old Uruguayan international, he's good, isn't he? He's getting better. I think he's been keeping Sessegnon out of the squad. But then again, has he? 12 off the bench, 6 starts. So I imagine there's probably a fair amount of rotation going on there. Juan Lu with another season of lots and lots of assists. 16 of them this time around. The now 28-year-old Spaniard with no caps to his name. He is wanted by teams in Saudi Arabia and Hull, apparently. Why do Hull want all of our players? 9 assists in the league last season, 11 in all comps, and then obviously 7 in the Premier League, 16 in all comps this season. So Juan Lu for a free transfer, much like quite a lot of our players. He's been sensible. Arguably, we could do with someone better, but he's doing a job. And at the top of the list is Ethan McBrien, the now 20-year-old Northern Irish international. 18 caps, 6 goals to his name, has got 18 assists, 13 of them coming in the Premier League, and all of his numbers are going up pretty drastically by the looks of it. Value 64 to 77 million pounds. He has gone good, right? Can we just do, is it all time? Is that basically how he's improved since we've signed him? So he's gone up in heading and passing, and he's gone up in anticipation, but everything else seems to be going up. His vision's 19. That's definitely gone up. I swear that was 18 when we signed him. It's now 19. Also, acceleration and agility has also improved. Ethan McBrien, for just under £10 million, I think was a ridiculously good bit of business. He's still a wonder kid. I have just seen he's 5'2". He's 5'2" with 10 heading and 3 jumping reach. At this point, stop practicing heading, mate. You're never going to win a header. So I do want to check some of the player stats then. So Rory Wilson actually second or joint second top goal scorer, with Mathis Tell, Erling Haaland at the top of the tree by a fair distance. But Rory Wilson has done really good for us. Expected goals, he's only down in 5th. So he's actually outperformed, which is good to see. Overperformance, that's the word. So he's 5th in that as well. Alan Davidson's underperformed, apparently. I mean, he has played quite a lot. He scored just 4 goals, 1 of them in the league. So yeah, that makes sense, fair enough. Considering how many seasons of Football Manager 24 I've played, never really looked at this. I'm surprised there are so many different attributes and stats that we can kind of check here. Most of them don't really make much difference, right? I mean, it's probably best to just look at this, right? So we've got most goals we've seen, most assists. We've got Ethan McBrien in second. Also, I would love this in FM26, best pass completion. I want to see this without goalkeepers. My goalkeepers will always pass well because they're passing 3 foot in front of them with no one tackling them. Anyway, so that is Season 7 or Season 3 in the Premier League under our belt with our QPR side. We have qualified for Europe, and I think it is the Europa League. We'll have to find out, though, in Season 8, which will be the final season of our Queen's Park Rangers save and our final season in FM24 before FM26 comes out, which maybe by the time this season is kind of finished, and maybe Season 8 is finished, it might already be out.